It should come as no surprise to hear that two very assertive, independent, and high-energy personality types will have their fair share of conflict. These traits are often why this pairing does better as friends rather than lovers, because things are fine so long as their paths run in parallel to each other, but as soon as they start to cross paths, neither person is wired to take their foot off the gas, and so a massive collision is inevitable. Now, one of the core issues with this couple is what I alluded to at the very beginning of the episode in regard to their triad centers. Both 7s and 8s put the least amount of effort into cultivating their heart center, which symbolizes emotional intimacy, vulnerability, and empathy. That doesn't mean that they can't be extraordinarily loving people, but what it does mean is that your average 7 and 8 much prefer to avoid talking about, much less being affected by, any painful emotion. For 7s, they believe their negative emotions get in the way of a good time and can often make them feel trapped. And for 8s, their emotions subvert their tough image and make them feel exposed to an attack. So in a relationship, when things get tough, no one wants to talk about how they feel. They think, I just gotta do what I gotta do. And man, if they're not in agreement about what needs to be done, then they can have some pretty explosive interactions thanks to all of that unprocessed emotion. Now, another major source of conflict for these two types can be explained by their place within the harmonic triad, which just groups Enneagram types based on their reaction to things like sudden pain or past trauma. For 7s, they're in the positive outlook group, which is exactly what it sounds like. 7s run into a painful situation and their first thought is just to move on to something more enjoyable or celebrate the silver lining or turn the whole thing into a joke. 8s, on the other hand, are reactive types that believe in wearing their anger on their sleeve during a painful or difficult situation. 8s demand that their loved ones take their intense reactions seriously. So when the 7 responds with a lighthearted disregard for the severity of the situation, that's just unacceptable. The problem is that your average 7 is just incapable of sitting with the 8 in their outrage, because again, that feels like being trapped. And why would you want to feel trapped when you could feel free by just moving on to something more fun or exciting? These opposing reactions, mixed with the fact that 7s and 8s are very stubborn, independent, and unfiltered people, make it super difficult for either partner to apologize, let alone seek reconciliation. Ultimately, the big red flag for this couple is when they start seeing the other person as the villain and seeing themselves as totally blameless, which then justifies any number of self-centered behaviors that help alleviate the pain of a relationship gone wrong. All right. Now that you've gotten a glimpse into some of the more problematic patterns between 7s and 8s, let's wrap things up with a little advice to help this couple have their healthiest relationship possible. Thank you so much for watching You've Got a Type. If you enjoyed that clip, then why not watch the full video it was taken from right here? And if you really enjoyed it, then maybe hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go. No pressure though. Just happy you're here.